Welcome back to another episode of KeysWord2Life Podcast. I'm Key. Today's episode is about bringing awareness on whether you prefer to be hypersexual or sex positive, or if you don't know if you're hypersexual, or if you don't know if you're sex positive, or if you want to be sex positive, but you're really hypersexual. Yeah. So we're going to dive right into it. It's important that I bring awareness to this subject because I think that within my generation, a lot of people would think that they're sex positive, would think that they own their sex and their sexual lifestyle, when in reality, they're just greedy and hypersexual. And they might even have a sex addiction and they might not know it. So we're just here to bring some awareness. Hypersexual. When I put this poll out on Instagram, it was kind of a lot of feedback and a lot of questions of what is hypersexuality and what does it mean to be hypersexual. Being hypersexual means to kind of have this compulsive sexual behavior. It's a serious urge that takes time to control, or maybe you don't have any control over it at all. It really comes from like a sex addiction, it comes from not really knowing the value of sex or the value of yourself, It comes from, I think, a negative standpoint, a time-wasting standpoint. Having sex or just fucking aimlessly, that's just what it is, honestly. Being hypersexual, and I've wrote some stuff down here, I've jotted some stuff, it really just means that you are carelessly creating soul ties. And a trigger warning, if you've ever been through any type of sexual abuse, I definitely believe that hypersexuality can come from that type of abuse. Sexual abuse. And so if you don't like to talk about stuff like that, if you've never addressed that with yourself, then it's best you click off, because we're going to talk about, a little bit of that. We ain't going to dive too deep, but being hypersexual comes from being greedy, right? I think people who subject themselves to have threesomes are greedy. Why do you need two people in the bed? Let's just think about it. Why do you need two people in the bed? What is wrong with one person? What are you not receiving from one person where you feel like you need two? Perhaps it could be fun. Me for one, I've never had a threesome, but perhaps it could be fun. But what did you really gain from that other than being greedy? And I guess I'm talking to the men, because it's usually, it's more men asking for a threesome than I think it is women. Women, when they have a partner, they usually want to just be with that one partner. That man is enough for them. And there are some women out there that, they want two men in the bed. So that's just as greedy. It's not necessarily a double standard. Why do you need to fill up all the holes at one time? I don't know. I don't understand that. And maybe I'll never understand it, but I'm not judging it. Just know that when you're doing that, you don't necessarily really have a purpose for that other than just to be lustful. Hypersexuality comes from being lustful, comes from being greedy and in like a gluttonous headspace, honestly, because you can't stick with one, you want it all. And you don't really need it. It's just that urge. It's just that fleshly urge, that comes about. And I, for one, definitely have experienced the urge of wanting to experience all that. I'll just put that out there. But I know for a fact that it won't serve me well as far as spiritually. And I know for a fact that I won't necessarily manifest anything off that. No, I think that sex can be overrated. Sex should be used in a positive light to where you can create things, but we'll get to sex positivity in a minute. Hypersexuality comes from lack of self-discipline or lack of sex discipline, honestly. Say you are in a relationship, with one partner, and every time you see somebody else that isn't your partner, you want to have sex with that person, and you go out and you act on that. That is hypersexuality, because you really had somebody that you could have been doing stuff with and dealing with, but you see something that you like and you kind of just want to go out there and indulge in that. And it's child's play. I think when we're kids, it's easier to experiment upon that. But if you're in your mid-20s, it's time to grow the hell up. It's time to grow the hell up and really put some intentions towards better things and manifesting and healing. And I think when you're hypersexualized, it deteriorates your healing, because you're giving a lot of yourself away, men and women. You're giving a lot of your power away. You're giving a lot of your self-respect away, and your self-worth and value. You're kind of lowering that because you can't seem to get it. You can't seem to get the sexual imagination out of your head. And all you can think about is sex, which, like I said, kind of falls into sexual addiction. You don't really know why, other than it being an attraction. Keep in mind, there are probably a lot of you out there having sex with somebody you really can't see yourself with. You're having sex with somebody who probably doesn't even vibrate on the same caliber as you. Well, honestly, y'all both probably vibrating low. That's okay, though. That's okay. That's why we're here. Just so you know that when you're hypersexual, you are vibrating low. If that's what you choose, so be it. Enjoy yourself however you're going to enjoy yourself. Boredom. Some of you need forms of adrenaline. And I think that that's a big thing for a man because, or honestly, in today's time, big thing for men and women. You're bored. You need something to do, and you chose to fuck for no reason, carelessly, to create soul ties, just to do so, just because you're bored and you need something to do. How about a book? How about a hobby? Go skating, go to the park, go swimming, do your hair. You know what I'm saying? Do a photo shoot, grow a garden. I don't know. There's so much things that you can do other than just figure out that you want to have sex. And like I was stating earlier, I think that some hypersexuality, definitely within my generation, definitely within my community, comes from sexual abuse in those formative years. It chemically does something to the brain, and now maybe that's all you can think of, especially in those years of puberty when you're growing up. And you see something that you like in your mind, you don't even care to think of anything further. Like I said, there are people out there that are having sex with people that they can't really see themselves with. There are people out there that had babies with people that they don't even want to be with anymore or be in the same room with anymore. And I think that comes from a hypersexual view. There is no longevity in being hypersexual. It is instant gratification, microwave results, as my friend would say. And so I think to really fall out of hypersexuality is to just be into consciousness, be mindful of who you want to associate yourself with, right? We can even break it down to being platonic and not romantic. If you really are mindful about who you want to associate yourself with, then a lot of what you think you're attracted to, you're not attracted to. I was told by a friend that a bad bitch was like a bad battery. And that took me back. Because I've been called a bad bitch before, and I thought it was in like a positive context, and I still to today think it was like those people called that to me meant in a daring way, meant in a positive, you like in a hyped up way. But I definitely understood his point of view as the fact that he could be attractive to the looks of a bad bitch, but the qualities is draining. She drains you both ways. One of them could be good, I would assume. And then one is a headache and a pain in the ass, and vice versa, because there will be men out here, they be so fine. As soon as they open up their mouth, I'm turned the fuck off. As soon as I see how inconsistent you are, as soon as I see how not intellectual you are, you don't think longevity, you don't got no direction, I'm turned off. I don't want to have sex with you. Create sex to be a mind thing. Put sex into a perspective of having sex with somebody's mind. That's what it's really about. Open up somebody's mind and have them open up yours and see if that leads into something that is intimate enough for you to want to pursue that type of thing. I'm not going to sit here and say, would I advocate that you should wait until marriage for sex? Yes, I have little sisters. I'm going to get on here and advocate, please, little sisters, please, wait till you got a ring on your finger to give it away. I think that, it shows how much you value yourself and how much your worth is. And it'll also have another man looking at you differently because it's not a lot of that going around. But for my adults, honey, that's dead and gone. We been out here cutting up. And so I'm not just going to get in front of this camera and say, wait until marriage, because I didn't wait until marriage. I didn't wait. So I'm not going to put that out there. But if you're young and you ain't had it yet, if you ain't had sex yet, if you're old, wait, there's no problem. You're not missing anything. I mean, you might be missing a little something, but you're not really, once you've had it, you feel me? And then it's also important to know that sex can get boring with the same person. Let's be real. You got to spice things up. You have to relearn that person and maybe try some new things. But if we're going to be talking about that, we might as well dive into sexual positivity, which is something I really love to advocate for, because I believe sex positivity to be something to create an even deeper bond. I believe when you use sex in a positive light, in a mindful light, you can manifest and, like I said, create a different bond, use it to create things. Sexual positivity promotes creation, as far as hypersexuality promotes destruction. The men, how disgusted do you feel as a man? This is the question. When you've had sex with somebody who you really can't see yourself with. Or like when you've just had sex with them, y'all been fucking, y'all a situationship, y'all a thing. And then like maybe 3-4 months in, you're like, ugh. I know women feel that way. I know women are out there now like, damn, I let that nigga fuck, like, oh my God. And it disgusts you on the inside and out. Turns your face, turns your stomach. And you just be like, what the hell was I thinking? Why did I do that? Oh, because in the moment he was fine. In the moment he might have been saying the right things that I didn't think in the long terms what this could do to my mind or my spirit or my body. I didn't think about it. So therefore, this is why I promote sex positivity, because I think it's more of a mindful thing. It creates this sex positivity knows that you can be intimate with somebody who's like-minded. I, for one, can't have sex with somebody who I feel like you're mediocre. If you're mediocre, I don't want to have sex with you. Now, have I had sex with mediocre men? I have. But I'm a person who doesn't fall into the category of insanity. So it only takes me one time to fuck up like that to know that I won't be doing that again. And when I mean one time, I mean one time. I mean one time. I mean like one time. I don't need a plethora of times to know down the line, and I think that's because I've always been wise and mindful, and I fall short for sure. But honey, I only need one time to fall short like that. Some things maybe a few times, but that right there, I just don't play. I just don't play with. And so, it doesn't take me long to know that ain't for Kiana. I think sex positivity comes from feeling safe with your partner. It creates a safe space with your partner when you have took time to get to know that person. Even if you've already had sex with that person before you got to know them off of hyper-sexuality, you can turn that into sex positivity. You can be sex positive with yourself as far as backing up from that. Like I said, don't fall into insanity of lust, right? Thinking, oh, well, they fine, so I'm just gonna fuck them, because that'll destroy you in the end. Keep in mind, you do become a reflection of the people you hang out with, and especially romantically. And that's why it's so important to watch out who you commit yourself to and who you have sex with. We're young, and if you're gonna go out there, I think having casual sex is hypersexuality. If you're gonna do it and you're not really creating anything with that person, or kind of even within yourself, and you're just fucking the fuck, those days are over. I'm sorry to tell you, but times are getting hard. The world is probably ending soon. Who knows? There's so much shit going on. Do you really want to waste it on just having a mind full of sex? Do you not think of anything else? We all get horny and urges, for sure. But that sexual discipline, I've heard what semen retention can do for men. I've heard it. I've also heard what hypersexuality can do for men. It could really destroy them. To be put into that mindset, it could hold you back. Maybe not destroy, but it becomes destructive to your purpose. It holds you back. When you decide to become positive within that light, I think it can actually build you up and make you better. And that's important. Also, sex positivity, which would be something that promotes manifestation, it's centered around being responsible, being ethical, being consensual, something that both parties want to do. Because I'm going to tell y'all something. Women don't want to have sex as much as they think they do. Women get to that point where they thought they wanted to do it. Now when it comes, your body, if you don't really feel like you want to do it, your body will let you know that. But as women, sometimes we do not speak up, especially women who have went through sexual abuse. You don't speak up when you don't want to have sex. You just know that person likes you or whatever and wants to have sex, and that motivates you enough to do it. But you don't feel as safe as you probably could. And I think that needs to fall on to women, to knowing what consent is for them, knowing when to speak up, because it can be easier said than done, especially when you've been through that type of abuse. It's easier to just let it happen because you don't want to look lame, or you don't want to upset somebody, or you don't want to be in that position where you felt like you might have been as a little girl or a little boy. Stick up for yourself, stand up for yourself. And set a boundary, and don't put yourself in situations where like shit like that can happen, right? And I'm not talking about the shit you wear. If you got your cleavage out and your ass out and you walking down the street, should nobody touch you. So what? You got your shit out. If you're a man walking down the street with your shirt off, should no woman feel okay to touch you and rub all over your chest and shit? That's sexual harassment and fucking assault. But if you said you're not going to have sex with that man, but then you go to his house in the middle of the night, or it's basically booty call, leg open hours, and you like, oh, I ain't having sex, girl, that man finna butter you the fuck up. And you finna get down, because you don't want to disappoint probably. And vice versa with men who say that they don't want to have sex. Keep yourself out of, don't be alone together in the dark, in where a bed could be. You know what I'm saying? If you really want to hold out, if you really want to put yourself on a goal to be like, I'm not finna do this with him at this moment. I want it to be meaningful. I want us to get to know each other a little bit more, because what if I have sex with him now and then I realize, like I said, what women do down along the line, that this is trifling. He is trifling. And men do that as well. I have guy friends that tell me, man, I wish I would have never fucked that bitch. And why do you wish that? Oh, because shit, she was dumber than a bag of fucking rocks. She was no asset to me. I had sex with her. She got attached. We never talked about what this would be. And that's another thing, conversation, converse on what you want it to be. Not after the sex, before the sex. Don't have sex and then lay in the bed and talk about, so what are you expecting? What do you want? What? Child's play. And we've all participated upon that. This is why I shake my head the way I do, because we've all participated within that child's play behavior that did not serve us well, served us none. Only thing we did was create a soul tie. Only thing we did was conjoin our souls with somebody who we really don't even fuck with for real. We don't even have the same mindset. We don't even think the same. We don't even care about the same things. Our morals and our values aren't even the same. I'm not saying you got to be in a relationship to have sex. Like I said, we're grown. All I'm saying is, if you're going to have sex, use it to create something. Use it to create something beautiful. Use it to wake up in the morning smiling. Don't use it to try and get somebody. Don't fall upon that, under that umbrella of wanting to make somebody like you, so you just give them sex. Or, don't get the big head. I think a lot of people get big heads. Let me tell y'all something. Dick and pussy is really like the same. And I'm not saying all of it's the same. There's bigger, there's smaller, some coochies is fatter than the other, whatever. Y'all get my point. All I'm saying is, it's overrated as shit. Oh, this pussy's so wet. Girl, duh. Pussies is wet. That's what happened. Oh, this hard dick. Duh. That's what they do when it's aroused. Stop overhyping it. That's what the movies did. The movies overhyped it, because nobody has sex like the movies. It never ends like that. Maybe if you do, congrats. I hope that it's upon sex positivity for you and not a hyper-sexualized thing. But all I'm saying is, let's be real. Once you hit an age and you've had sex before, you know what it's like, especially if you're in a relationship and you know what it's like with that person. Romance and intimacy is so much more important than that. To have somebody give you something that you can't see, like a feeling of intimacy, is so much more important than the actual act of sex. Because anybody can have sex, but not everybody can be romantic and intimate, and not everybody can be transparent and open and responsible and ethical and consensual about their sex. Those are the things that are important, that promote sex positivity and create love and light within your life. You know what I'm saying? Also, I think that, like, sometimes I would hear men talk about, oh yeah, fucking a bitch 5 hours, you feel me? Now, why the fuck would you waste all that time like that? What did you create? Wasn't no baby. You know what I'm saying? You wasted all of that semen, precious, for what? To fuck a bitch for 5 hours and end up with soggy dick? Oh no. No. Disappointed I am. I really am. To hear a man boast about shit like that disgusts me. What do you do for a living? What are your aspirations and your admiration? Like what are you doing for real? You know what I'm saying? Same with girl, oh, I could fuck for this. My pussy stay wet for this long. So, okay. That's cool. That's decent. And I'm sure men love that. But what are you creating for real? Right? Because really, let's be real. Sex was for babies. Sex is to procreate in the world. Right? You heard that? Sex is to procreate. Sex is to create. So if you ain't creating no babies, at least create something. Create intimacy. Create a bond. Manifest something. Create some type of love with somebody. But don't, you feel me? You think that it's okay to just be sitting on fucking off for 5 to 8 to 12, however, a whole day? Maybe those days are important. Maybe those days for you and your partner can be necessary, can be intimate, can be really in the mood. But if you're just doing that with randoms, why are you wasting your time? You could be out there making money for real. You could be out there really creating some type of future for yourself and being intentional and mindful with your life. But instead, you think that it's okay to boast about how many hours you fucked, but you didn't do nothing. You didn't leave with nothing. There was not, you came in the same way you left out. Maybe you're a little bit happier. Maybe the dopamine is better for you. And I speak for women because niggas dopamine, we leave like that when it comes to sex. Y'all dopamine is during the sex. And then when it's done, it's like, possibly. Maybe I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, but when am I wrong like that? Let's be real. And then as far as women, the dopamine comes after the sex. So yeah, you got a little, you know, you're good or whatever, but he's not, he's usually, if it's casual, if you ain't your partner, y'all ain't matching like that. Y'all ain't matching energy like that. He ain't thinking what you thinking, girl. You know, we release a chemical in our brain after sex that makes us feel like we love the person we just have sex with. Me, for one, I'm so conscious that I let the emotions flow. I would never let that emotion come over me, honestly. And be like, oh, I might love for that minute. And I know in the next hour, I'm going to be hungry and minding my business, ready to go to the park and read a book and be by my fucking self. And I don't want to be touched. This was an important topic for me. You know, I think that especially in my city of Nashville, where the STDs are flying off the charts, the syphilis and the herpes and the bacterial vaginosis is crazy. What are y'all doing out there? What are y'all doing? Y'all ain't even wearing condoms. Y'all just flip-flopping and switching every week, every month? No. Poor pH. Pour it up for the pH. Because she is destroyed. Who knows if she'll make it back, especially if you caught yourself up with an STD. They are flying around here. Please be careful and be safe and wrap it the hell up. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to be out there like that, you know, and I know that my smart women, that they're out there wrapping up, they would never. But it's like, even if you wrap it up, think about it, like that person could still have something. Get to know that person. Especially with men, because men think less than women when it comes to sex. Y'all just want a nut. Y'all just want to conquer that woman in the bed and be on y'all business. Y'all gonna catch something. Why are you doing that to yourself? R.I.P. R.I.P. to the tip of the dick, because that's just trifling. Wrap it up and keep it together. Anyways, this has been a great talk. I love, honestly, talking about this subject to people just so they can get an understanding that I'm not against sex, nor am I 100%, nor can I sit here and just be like, oh, wait till marriage, because I didn't do that. But I'm hoping that with sex we can be more mindful and we can stop overhyping it as if it's more than what a real relationship can bring you, what real love can bring you, what real creativity and positivity could bring you, and intimacy and romance. Like, those are so important, because sex can be had with anybody. Don't ever think as a man that your dick is going to keep a woman. You could give a woman great dick and have all the money in the world, but if you don't know nothing about no romance or being attentive or consistent, she will cheat on you with a small dick broke nigga. She will. She'll go do it tonight, tomorrow. It'll happen. Don't ever think as a woman that your pussy is wet enough and tight enough to keep a man, because it's not. He'll go do it with something that is just as tight and just as wet, or maybe less tight, less wet, whatever. If you are being so aggressive and you are just nagging the shit out of him, it don't matter what your pussy like. He's not even going to want to fuck you. He might have, and just to get the urge out, he might, but it's not going to be out of love. It's not going to be out of positivity. It's going to be because he is in lust, he has an urge, and that's about it. I'm hoping that we learned something today. This is what this is all about for me. So yeah, y'all stay beautiful and keep spreading the love and the light and the wisdom. Bye.